Almost there actually. 2 wins or a few losses. Want to watch some videos now? Yeah, because I have ice cream and some coffee that I want to chill for a bit before I go back into PvP. Before coffee fucking gets cold as well. Now I can have some fucking ice cream while we react to some videos.
Okay, so new variant in Criterion dungeons. In response to feedback, new rewards are in the work for Savage mode. Rewards intended to be useful in increasing item level. This is really good.
I am happy that they're actually increasing the item. Well, they're improving the rewards from Criterion. Because like clearing Criterion once is great, but that's like all prog. You clear prog, you prog through a fight once, you clear it, you're happy. But it's like something needs to make you want to go back, and that's usually rewards. If you can get like shines, twines, but it's like at this point we are getting them from nuts. We're getting them from the coins from Alliance raids. So Criterion is like it's a bit late, especially since it's gonna be out in 651. It is appreciated that they're giving us something. It would be better if it just gave us books. There are 4 bosses in the Criterion's ones.
But it's also really bad. So I'm going to explain why. The Savage mode is a horrible implementation. The Savage mode is beyond lazy, and they clearly don't give a shit about it. Now, there's a couple things you have to ask yourselves here. Rewards intended to be useful in increasing item level. I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news here, guys. I would not bet that these are on par with Savage. Now, I know that sounds stupid, but I would not bet that these would be on par with Savage.
No, I disagree actually on that one. Because it is coming out. There is one more Criterion coming out specifically in 6.5. Like, what fucking item level does it need to drop? Like, what are rewards it's gonna drop that are gonna increase item level, but still not be on par with Savage?
I think my first guess would be that this is going to be another Alliance raid bullshit. I think it's going to be like 5 item levels below the raid tier. Let's pretend for a second that it's on par with the raid tier. So then you have to ask yourselves a couple questions. Why do it when you can just do the raid tier? There's no real reason to do it because it's not any different than normal mode. Then you have to ask yourself, well, what if it's higher item level? Ooh, if it's higher item level, yeah, let's do it. But for what though? What's the purpose? This is at the very end of the expansion. Nothing new is
Move your head, I can't see Xeno's beautiful bald head.
Fuck's sake. Okay. And he would be roughly around here. Perfect. God, I love Xeno. All right, let's keep watching.
The raid tier is already dead. Why is the gear even in the game? You could literally remove this gear from the game and it wouldn't matter. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that while I appreciate that they are addressing the rewards, which was fucked from the start. You know, real quick, it's funny. I remember reading that interview with the guy that designs this shit, and he's like, well, we don't know what to put in. And it's literally just what I said. Just fucking put in raid gear. However, I wasn't talking about the Savage version, because the Savage version, you pretty much need BIS to do it anyway, right? So,
see, I don't think Criterion should be dropping Savage gear. I think it should drop books. Like, legit, honestly. Also, bird is loud. What? Well, shut the fuck up then, maybe. Have you considered that? I do think that, like, Criterion should be dropping books. Because it does drop, like, later than the Savage gear. Sorry, Savage tier. And I think it should give us books, honestly. Because, like, a Savage Reclear plus Criterion Reclear would at least encourage people to get more stuff done during the week, and people would not feel like there's nothing to do in the game. Same with Alliance Raid. Alliance Raid should also have a fucking higher difficulty, so people can go in and get something out of it. Even an extra coin would be fine.
why would you only put gear in the Savage version? The gear should be in the normal version. It doesn't matter that the gear is in Savage version. I can promise you this right now, even if they put new rewards in, no one's gonna do the Savage version. No one except people that only play this game and nothing else. I'm very curious to see the clear rates on Savage. If you can clear this, you can clear every turn of Savage, so you don't even need the gear. Let's say that it drops equivalent raid gear. what the fuck is the point? It's not like you can do this for the gear.
Why am yelling?
Basically, what I'm saying is the reward doesn't matter. The Savage version doesn't need a reward. Now, I know that sounds crazy. The Savage version doesn't need a reward. The normal mode version does. The Savage mode needs a complete rework. It's cool that they're addressing.
Okay, when he says normal and savage and fucking everything else, does he mean the variant or Criterion? Criterion is technically the savage. There's the savage version of the Criterion, which is like fucking you get materia for just being good. Or does he mean variant? Because at this point, I'm gonna assume he means Criterion dungeon. Because this is a confusion I've had with a lot of people recently when talking about clearing it.
Addressing this, but they have completely missed the point again. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, guys, but this is not gonna fucking matter at all because no one is gonna do the Savage mode. Dude, the Savage mode is so fucking miserable. It is awful. It is trash. At best, you get slightly better gear, but for what purpose? For what? There's no reason. Now, let's say you take that gear and you put it in the normal mode. Well, now you have what we call horizontal progression. So now you can get gear from the raid tier and also get gear from the Criterion. So now, like, let's say you're progging the second turn or whatever. And I don't know, maybe you're dying to fucking harrowing hell because it hits way too fucking hard. Well, then you can go in the normal mode and you can farm up a little bit of gear to help you through it. Whereas, who the fuck is gonna do the Savage mode of Criterion before they do the raid tier? You're not gonna do it for gear. You can get gear way faster in the raid tier. So like I said, guys, this is good.
Okay, I think I'm picking up what he's putting down. His issue is specifically the Savage version of Criterion, the one that's fucking dropped nothing but materia. I do agree that like clearing it after the tier is a bit pointless because it's like even if it gives us something, it's like it's a bit too late, and it's the rewards need to be fucking worth it for the amount of shit we have to go through. Because it's pretty much the same shit as Criterion, just you cannot die. And it hits harder, I guess. Which is great and all, but I think like Criterion itself should give books. I think cost of some items should be a bit higher. I think normal Criterion should drop books. And the Savage Criterion should drop, honestly, shiny weapon. Or like not even shiny weapon, or like unlock something like ultimates. Like frogging and getting that FUD done is fun, but it's like the reward is just glamour at the end of the day. It's not always gonna be BIS. It's BIS for that same ultimate, but it's not gonna be BIS forever. And it's just at the end of the day, people will just do it for glamour. So maybe they could make weapons in Savage raids non-glowy. Excusing. And they could give a reward that makes those weapons glowy by clearing the Savage Criterion. Because it would make something, I guess, like worth it. Because then they don't need to make new weapons or anything. They just make your weapon shiny. You get an item that can make your weapon shiny. I feel like that could be like a very easy but simple implementation.
That they're listening to feedback, but
just like ultimates, you can only like make one weapon shiny per run.
a much deeper fundamental problem here, and that is the entire design of Savage Criterion. It is beyond lazy. The fights are identical, copy paste in every way. I seem to be the only person that has a fucking problem with them taking a piece of content, literally copy pasting and calling it new.
No, I agree in this one. Like, just making the same dungeon, adding Savage and just making it that you cannot res or it hits harder is just like, it's very lazy. They need to either add more mechanics or, I don't know, something. Add a secret boss for fuck's sake. Add a door boss for all I care. But it's like, it needs to be at least something new. Like something needs to be different, something that makes you want to do that one instead of the Savage, instead of like the normal Criterion.
That's not new. It's the same thing. Let me ask you this question. For everybody, it's like, well, no, because you can't die. Okay, let me ask you this question. If you do every mechanic in the normal mode and not die, that's literally doing Savage, yes? There you go. Why does the Savage version even exist?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no new mechanics. Like what people are failing to see is that they're just fucking lazy. They just felt like, well, we put a new dungeon in, so it's got to have a savage version. Well, fuck, we don't want to put any thought or effort into actually making it. So let's just make it really obnoxious so you can't die and so you can't raise. Dude, okay, like I've done the savage versions, man. Let me tell you, it is very, very fucking obnoxious when you go like 17 minutes into a pull and you die to a random auto attack and, well, that's over. That's over. You could say, well, you know, it's a test of...
Honestly, I think Savage shouldn't even be a dungeon. Honestly. Just take the ultimate treatment. Make it a gauntlet. Just make one arena. You go into the arena, you fight one boss, and then you have to continuously clear all the bosses in one go. No fucking ad. Maybe some ads. Sure, why the fuck not? Some particular ones. Like maybe a gauntlet of these bosses, so it would justify being Savage. Like make a gauntlet, so as soon as you clear one boss, the other one comes out, and you have to continue. Same amount of like reses, or even without the reses, like that's fine. But it's like make it different in some way.
Skill or whatever, but dude, I'm talking about the mental. I'm talking about why the fuck am I doing the same exact thing that I just did, but they're calling it something new? You can't compare Ultimate to Criterion. I was talking with a friend and they did the same thing. Ultimate is something completely different because Ultimate is new. And for some reason, they couldn't understand that Criterion Savage is not new. It's the same thing as normal mode, which is my problem, is that people don't understand that the Savage Criterion is one of the most laziest implementations I've ever seen. And I can't believe that they're trying to pass it off as like new hard content. It's the fucking same, man. Literally the same. Here's what I think that they need to do. They need to completely scrap this idea of rewards intended to be useful increasing item level. Because even if they put new gear in here, people are still not gonna do it. Why would you do this for the same item level as the raid tier? Or why would you do this for slightly higher item level?
Okay, this is my tinfoil hat theory. I feel like those dungeons should have been more. They should have had more mechanics. There should have been different. Hell, even maybe probably different bosses. But I feel like because of COVID, because obviously this expansion was being developed during the COVID era, some things had to go. Some things couldn't be finished, and probably their priority was on more VR hats and haircuts. Probably getting 2 ultimates out, because they failed on that one in Shadowbringers. But something had to go, and they probably gave Criterion off. But I feel obviously that's not an excuse. Obviously, as someone who pays money for the game, I want the full fucking package, right? Obviously, this is not me making up an excuse, obviously, but this would explain that potentially these Savage Criterion dungeons are just placeholders, honestly, and they should have been much different.
When there's nothing in the game left. Like, this is the end of the expansion. This is when the dip happens. This is when we're in the fucking Death Valley. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm sure that some people are excited about this. I'm sure there are. I'm not saying that they're not. But I'm not speaking for the 10% of people. I'm speaking for a majority of people, the mid-core content people. They're not gonna fucking do this. This is what's gonna happen. They're gonna try this. They're gonna be like, ooh, we get new gear, we get better gear. They're gonna go in there for maybe like a few hours and be like, wow, this is actually fucking miserable. This is the same shit as I just did, except for I can't die or I have to restart. This is fucking miserable. Nothing is new. And you already spent all this time progging the normal mode. Then you have to do it again with the same shit, the exact same shit. It's lazy. It's fucking lazy, man. They implemented Savage so horrible, and of all the feedback that they listened to, they only listened to the rewards. They didn't listen to the initial problems that it was lazy. People don't want to repeat the same shit, man. You have 2 pieces of content. One of them is like the entry version. The next is like the higher tier. The higher tier one should not be a copy paste of the entry one. That doesn't make any sense, man. Like in the harder...
I love Xeno to bits, but he keeps repeating the same fucking argument. It shouldn't be the same thing, but barely different. I do agree with him. Like, how many? I'm assuming this just fucking his chat is being weird. but I do agree with him.
Version, put new mechanics in it. Make it fun. People seem to forget that there is a way to make things difficult and fun at the same time. Savage Criterion is the perfect example of how you should not design difficult content. And that is copy paste and just make it an endurance where you can't die. That is fucking horrible. It's miserable. They don't even change anything, man. I seem to be the only one that is fucking annoyed that they're trying to call this new content, like this clear and cut copy paste shit, man. Who is this content for? For those of you that are like, well, it's for the 10%, it's for the hardcore raiders. No, you want to know what the hardcore raiders are doing? They're fucking done. They're done until the next expansion. A majority of them are fucking done. They're not coming back for this. Are you crazy? Some of them, sure. I don't speak for everybody, but you think there's gonna be some massive world race scene? No, there's not. Not for this trash.
There might be.
Once people clear the normal mode.
Honestly, if the Savage for the Criterion here is gonna be different, that's gonna confirm my theory. If like at least the last fucking Criterion dungeon is just gonna be a bit different. But if it's gonna be the same, fuck me. I don't know why they even try. But it needs to give us something. At least like, yeah, I don't even have an idea. Like even a weapon with suboptimal stats, something, give us.
The hype is dead because everybody knows the Savage version is a fucking copy pasta. Now, maybe they're gonna change it. That would be awesome, actually, if they changed it. Here's what I think they should do. I think they should put the rewards in the Criterion dungeon, not Savage version. Now you have two different ways to get raid gear. Horizontal progression. And honestly, the normal mode, those fights are just as hard as some Savage turns. I think that they need to put the rewards in the normal version and they need to completely redesign. Okay, not completely redesign, but they need to add some new mechanics to the Savage version. The Savage version should be just like the normal mode in that everybody gets a raise, but the fights have, I don't know, 1 to 3 additional mechanics that you've never seen before. And I think that would be fucking awesome. It would mean that there's a reason to do it because you get to see new stuff. Maybe even in the Savage version, they add a whole other secret boss. Because you know how in the variant dungeons, there's multiple bosses, right? But they only pick certain ones, right? They only pick 3 to put in the Criterion. Maybe in the Criterion Savage, there's an extra boss. That would be awesome. So not only each fight would be...
So yeah, just like I said, like add an extra boss, at least something. Like something has to be different. Either an extra boss or, I don't know, not even if not even extra mechanics, extra boss, or make them a gauntlet. So you have to clear all bosses in one go instead of having to go through this painful fucking dungeon.
1 to 3 mechanics more, but you'd also get a whole new boss to prog. That would be so fucking cool. Because the best part about Criterion Dungeons is not the Savage version. The Savage version is fucking garbage to me. It's like dude, it's trash. I would never recommend that. The best part of Criterion is just the normal mode when you're going through and you're learning the fights and you're seeing them for the first time. That is awesome. That is really good content. Here's another thing. Rewards intended to be useful, increasing item level. How are they gonna implement the rewards? Because there's a time limit, right? So it's not like that each boss is gonna drop a piece of gear. I think at the end of the fight, you're gonna get a token that you can turn in for a piece of gear. And that's so stupid. That's so stupid. You do the Savage mode to get something that you don't need. So is it even really an increase in rewards? Is it really an increase?
To be fair, I think this is just mid-core content. Because progging something as a group of 4 or organizing a static as a group of 4 or even bugging through PF might be a lot easier as a group of 4. That might be just my theory. I still think they should just give you books. They might give us totems. Something, maybe.
The Savage mode to get something that you don't need. So is it even really an increase in rewards? Is it really an increase? I don't think so. Look, man, this is good. They are listening to feedback. However, they're ignoring the more important part. This tells me that they are out of touch with what this dungeon...
You know what would actually be sick? What would might actually make this sort of worth it, right? If they added 11 materia, and it would drop, like, even if the reward is still materia, 42 stats instead of 36. Add materia 11. Even that's gotta be fucking worth it.
Should be. So they need to get in touch. They need to redesign the Savage. They need to make it different because putting rewards in Savage is fucking stupid. So I'm gonna say it one more time. Put the rewards in the normal mode. Put the rewards in the normal mode. Rework the Savage to where there's a secret boss and there's more mechanics on each of the bosses and give you a raise. Yes, every person should have a raise, should have one. Make it just like the normal mode, except for the fights are harder. I don't know how.
For a second there, I thought he was like, fix this content the way I like it, and you should get a raise at work for it. Fuck's sake.
They fucked that up. I don't know how that's possible that they could fuck that up. It's a literally copy paste from normal mode Savage normal mode to Savage. You'd think that they'd fucking do the same thing here, but they didn't. So take the rewards, put them in the normal mode, redesign Savage so that each boss has 1 to 3 extra mechanics. Each player gets 1 raise, and there's a secret boss. Done. That is how you.
Honestly, I don't. The more I think about it, I don't think Savage needs to be even in the thing. Criterion is technically Savage. Instead of like making a Savage version of Criterion, just make Criterion good. Make it fun and make the rewards worth it.
Design. That is how you design the fucking Criterion dungeon.
Good video. Good video.